Hello everybody. This is Sherry from the CGH Health Foundation, and welcome back to What's Cooking CGH. And today I'm going to be cooking with apples. So apples are one of my favorite fruits, and in the fall when they are plentiful, I eat a lot of them, and usually raw. That's the best way to eat an apple, and I love them that way. But today I thought I'd show you a little treat that you can make, the name of the recipe is a chai-spiced cider baked apple, and I kind of copied a recipe from a famous apple orchard for their cider baked apples, but I'm adding a little twist to it that you might enjoy. And so the first thing that I've done to get ready for my cider baked apples is I have 2 cups, or I started with 2 cups of apple cider. And you can find it just about anywhere at this time of year, grocery store, in the apple orchard, and the farmer's market. But I started with 2 cups and I have it here cooking. It's been bubbling away for almost half an hour. I wanted to reduce it down by about half. And that's going to make it kind of nice and syrupy. And then what I'm going to do is turn off the heat, and I am going to add a chai tea bag to the apple cider. When you open that package, you smell all those chai spices if you're a fan. It's going to sit in there for just maybe 3 to 5 minutes while I'm working on the rest of the dish. And it's just going to infuse that cider with those spices. Cinnamon, nutmeg, clove. There are several gingers probably in there. And so the kitchen's already smelling really good. The next thing I'm going to do is get my apples ready to go in the oven. And so I'm using a Honeycrisp apple. Again, that's my favorite apple. Any nice firm apple. Good baking apples include things like Jonathon apples and Macintosh apples. And in order to get it ready for baking, the first thing I'm going to do is just slice a real thin bit off of the bottom of the apple. Okay, and that's going to do 2 things. It's going to let the apple sit a little straighter up in the pan, and the other thing it is going to do is help to absorb some of that cider with the chai spices infused in it. So a little bit off the bottom, and then I'm also going to slice a nice piece off of the top, and I'm going to hold on to this one, and I'll show you why later. The next thing I'm going to do is take out the core and the seeds, and for that I like to use my melon ball scoop. If you have one of these, this is really the handiest way to do it. If you don't have a melon ball scoop, then you can use a small spoon or scoop of some other kind. But I'm going to go right into the stem and just start scooping out kind of a little tunnel down to the seeds, because I want to make sure I get the seeds out of there. I always think that's so pretty. It looks like a little star when you get there. But make sure you get the seeds and that you get all of that cartilage or hard material that surrounds the seeds too, because nobody wants to bite into that. And we're not going to go all the way to the bottom, because we're going to stuff this apple full of some tasty stuff, and we don't want it to all leak out. So just until you've got the seeds cleaned out of there. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, and again, this is optional, but I have a little slice of lemon here, and I'm going to rub the cut end there of the top of the apple. That just keeps it from turning brown. Okay, so I have my 4 apples ready to go here, and let's take the tops off of them and set that aside for just a second, and then I'm going to work on the filling. Okay, so for the filling, I have 4 teaspoons of a soft, buttery spread. This is what I use, okay? It's made with vegetable oils, and so that's a little healthier for us. And to my buttery spread, I'm going to add a tablespoon of sugar. This could be brown sugar or white sugar. I prefer brown. I have a little bit of coconut sugar here because that's just what I have in the house right now. And so that's going to go in with my butter. The next thing I'm going to add is about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And there is not much that smells better than apples and cinnamon and putting this in the oven to bake. So I've got a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm just going to use my spoon and kind of smoosh that around in there so that the butter kind of gets all of the sugar and spices incorporated. The next thing that's going in, just a dash or two of salt, not very much. And then I have a 1/4 cup of oatmeal. And again, I want to kind of mix it up so that the oatmeal and the butter and the sugar is all combined. And then the last thing I'm going to add, and this is optional also, if you're allergic to nuts, you probably don't want to put them in, but just a 1/4 cup of chopped nuts. I have chopped walnuts here. You could use pecans, you could use hazelnuts, you could use peanuts would probably be really good. I got my walnuts. And I'm going to stir that around just a little bit. There. Okay, so everybody's kind of mixed in there. Set that aside and get my apples up here. Okay, so it's not a lot of filling, just enough to fill those holes in the apple. And get it in there. Pack it in. And if you have extra, you could even mound a little bit on top. Okay. Move it on top of there. 2, 3, and 4. So I've got my filling tucked inside that apple. One thing I forgot to mention that I did, and I'll need to do it with the other apple, is that I cut my apples, kind of cross-hatched them one way and then the other. The other 4 are done, just this last one that I didn't get done. And since we're leaving the skin on the apple, sometimes when you bake them, they tend to kind of explode a little bit. And doing that little crosshatch one direction and the other will help to avoid that. So if you saved your apple tops, if you didn't eat them, and you could eat them if you wanted to, but it's kind of pretty to put the apple top back on top of all of this. Okay. And then the last thing that we're going to do, now that that apple cider has had the chai tea infused in it, we're going to take that tea bag out and we're going to pour this spiced apple cider on and around these apples. Okay, I have my oven preheating to 375 degrees, and I'm going to put this in the oven. Takes about 40 to 50 minutes, and that is going to depend on how big your apples are. So you just want them to be nice and tender, and that filling is going to cook and melt down and flavor that apple. It's going to be just delicious. I made one little serving for myself this morning, and you could eat these for breakfast if you wanted to. Makes a wonderful fall dessert or just a snack. If I were going to have this for breakfast, I might top it with a dollop of yogurt. But if you put a little scoop of ice cream on there, that wouldn't hurt either. So this is my chai spiced cider baked apples. I hope you'll give it a try. You can find all of my recipes on our new What's Cooking CGH blog and website. And we've got them all organized there by category. Many old ones that didn't have videos, but I'm working on videos for some of those. If you just want to look at videos, you can go to the CGH website under the Education tab and look for our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I'm going to taste it. Can't wait. Yum. Very good. Hope you enjoy.